Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. Let's get into it. Sunday Study Group for Warriors. I don't think I have any new subscribers this week, so no need to explain how this works. You ever heard of a heart check? If you've ever been on a team, you ever been to prison, if you've ever been in a fraternity or in a platoon in the military, maybe you have been given a heart check. And it's just a simple test to see how tough you are, to see what your heart is about, see what kind of person you are, see if you're a stand-up guy or not, see if you're going to still be there after the shit hits the fan. God may put you through a heart check also. You may be wondering why you're going through tough times in your life. Often we have tough times and people shake their fist up at the heavens questioning if there even is a God. Why would I be going through all this shit if there's a God? I prayed to have a good life and I'm having such a hard life. God may be putting you through a heart check. Oh, he's going to open the gates of heaven for you. You got to get your destiny, but only if you can prove that you're fearless and faithful. See, only the fearless and the faithful make it into heaven. You don't get to walk through those gates if you're still holding on to a lot of fear and you're still questioning your faith. You can wait outside. Don't nobody need you in. A fearless and a faithful man receives his blessings. So that may be why you're going through your hard time as just being a test. Heart check, motherfucker, heart check. Man up. Let's go to the next one. Here's one that I wrote down that I don't really understand, so let's hash it out together, see if we can figure it out. You can't build your faith on circumstance. You can't build your faith on circumstance. So your circumstance is what's happening right now. That's what's going on right now. Whatever your circumstance may be, it may be tough, may be miserable, may be awful, may be painful, may be good. But whatever your circumstance is, whether it's good or bad, if you build your faith upon that, it seems like that it's kind of misplaced because every circumstance is temporary. The good and the bad, everything is temporary. And if you have faith in a temporary situation, well, you're walking on thin ice. You're eventually just going to fall through. So faith has to be based on something broader than simply your immediate situation. If you're faithful when things are going good and you're like, oh yeah, God is great. You're having a great day, everything's going good for you, you got some money in the bank and whatever, all your ducks are in a row, your life is being handled pretty well, you're just having a fucking great time right now, this week is going great, what a great week this has been. Or if it's the opposite and things are miserable, oh, it's so terrible. If you put your faith in those times, it's misplaced. The faith has to be broader on a larger goal. No matter what you're doing, whether it's a high or a low, today's good or today's bad, you have your eye on the prize. Your faith is always down the road. It's not at your feet. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next page. I don't like any of the ones on that page. Failure in marriage can interrupt Wait, what is this? I can't even read my fucking handwriting. Oh. Failure in marriage can interrupt your doing God's will. So you may be on a path doing a good service in life. You may be a very, very amazing person. I've seen this happen, man. I've seen it happen. And a guy may have everything going on in his life. A great career. A career that's helping. A career that makes money. He's got a relationship, a family, a home that he owns. Everything is going fucking perfect. And he goes to bed every night thinking, man, yeah, this is it. I made it. And then you get divorced. For whatever reason, divorce happens. Maybe she cheated on you. You look through her phone by accident and you see those text messages, and your fucking heart just breaks. Oh my God. after all I've done for her. That type of shit, man, can just destroy a motherfucker. I've seen guys who are really doing it, who have great lives that I would envy. I have a great life, and I've seen guys that are just doing amazing things where I'm like, yeah, I want to be like you. And it all falls apart. So failure in marriage can definitely interrupt you doing God's will, and this is something to keep in mind for you single guys, that some people, they need to stay single. Jesus needed to stay single. I don't think Jesus could have done his job on the weekends or after doing chores or after he mowed the lawn. Another way to look at this is to just simply stay on the path. To always be conscious of what you're here for and what your goals are. And you're on a path of righteousness. And you can't let a failure in marriage, a divorce, turn into your ultimate trauma. A lot of men have divorce as their most ultimate trauma. I was homeless. And when I was homeless, I asked other people that were homeless, other men, why are you homeless? And all of them had the same story. And they're homeless because they're a drug addict, obviously, heroin addict typically. But it was always a divorce that drove them to the drugs. It was a divorce that crushed them, that destroyed them, that took them off of their path. Stay on the path. Let's go to the next one. You know, the loneliest I've ever been in my life was in a relationship. I've been lonely. I've been just as lonely as the loneliest man in the world. I know what that's like, to be at the bottom of that abyss. And the loneliest I've ever been, I think back, what was the loneliest? I've had some lonely times, but what was the loneliest? And those times, I've had a couple times where I've been the loneliest man in the world. Would be a good title for a book. I was with another person in a city full of millions of people. You would think if you're lonely, you'd be isolated out in the middle of nowhere with no friends, no girlfriend, and maybe some of you are like that. I know what it's like to be in a city of 20 million people, living downtown with people everywhere. I got probably 6,000 people just on my block. A hot, naked chick that I just banged in every hole. She came 7 times. She's sleeping in the wet spot, laying right next to me, and I've sat up awake just feeling lonely, feeling unsatisfied, feeling shallow and hollow, and like life kind of sucks. Isn't that weird? It's a condition. Your loneliness has nothing to do with other people. You think it has something to do with other people. I wish I had a magic wand like Harry Potter to go and just give every lonely guy your little dream girl. And watch, you'll still be lonely because it's a condition inside of you. So the next one. Some of you have never been single. Some of you people have never been single. And you say, well, Sky, I'm not married. Some of you have never been single. Being unmarried is not the same as being single. They're two different things. Being single is a lifestyle management. It's a frame of mind. Being unmarried is just nothing more than a condition, and it's usually a condition that you're focused on because you don't have something. So basically you're just thirsty. And you notice a condition that would satisfy your need, satisfy your thirst. Very oftentimes an unmarried man is absolutely lonely and he's going around looking for something to quench his thirst, whereas a single man isn't lonely. And a single man isn't shunning relationships, isn't running away from a wonderful woman. In fact, a single man is attractive to a wonderful woman. A single woman and a single man can come together and have a strong family that'll last forever, forever. You'll die together. If one of you is broken, if both of you are broken and you're going to come together and think about making one whole person, she's my other half, those marriages always end in divorce. They always crumble because you can't carry a load. You're a weak structure. So some of you have never been single. You And I'll take it a step further. You'll never understand what it's like to truly love another person and to be in a relationship with another person, that communion. You'll never understand it until you can learn to love yourself and be single and to be happy. Let's go to the next one. It seems an obvious statement, right? Relationships are for sharing, not for depression and bitterness. Someone should have told me that. I wish I knew that one. Relationships are for sharing, not depression and bitterness. So you want to share of yourself. If you're in a relationship with somebody who's not sharing of themselves, and it's not a mutual sharing, it's a bad relationship. And I have been in those are the only relationships I've ever had in my life where neither of us are putting in the same amount. I feel like I've always shared more. I share everything about myself, who I am. I share my money, I share my vehicles, I share everything about myself. Every single thing I have is also yours, baby. But it doesn't always go the other direction. I've had girlfriends where that final conversation when you break up, sometimes that's a really intense conversation. And it's interesting because sometimes that breakup conversation, you learn more about the person than you did the entire relationship, because it's the first time that they've ever actually let their whole guard down and that they're truly who they are. The entire time you dated them, for the 7 years you dated her and slept next to her and you both said you loved each other, she was never truly who she really was. Isn't that weird? Let's go to the next one. God began all human relationships with one single man, a man named Adam. He didn't start it with two people. Here's two humans. Now go and fuck and have fun and create a planet. That's not how it happened. He created Adam, a man. And Adam was alone in the Garden of Eden. And he's having a good time hanging out with animals and naming things and just doing his thing all the time, just doing his thing. And he never went to God and said, dude, I know you got me in this utopia and everything's cool and all that. I'm not complaining, bro, but I'm lonely as fuck, man. He never said that. That's not how the book is. God chose to give Adam a mate, I guess, just to see what happens. He's like, come here, let's try this out. But all relationships started with a single man. Understand that term, single man. Relationship starts with a single man. Let's go to the next one. Some of you get it, some of you don't. Here's a question to ask yourself. We have time, I'm running out of time. I still have 3 more pages. Can you live with yourself for the next 90 years? This is about self-love. I talk about self-love all the time. Can you live with yourself for the next 90 years? Are you a gift or a curse? Are you a promotion or a demotion? That's an interesting way of looking at it. Let's skip forward a little bit. I'll do another one. Hope you guys are still hanging in there. We'll go to 15 minutes or so and then I'll end it. You have to be your woman's best friend. This is a rule of relationships. You have to be. Guys, you have to be your woman's best friend. I've made this mistake before. And I've kind of encouraged women in relationships in the past where maybe you should have a best friend of your own. I have my best buddy, maybe you need a BFF. Guys, you need to be her BFF. That's part of the relationship, is to be her best friend. And I believe, I don't have a woman next to me to correct me, but I believe that a woman needs a man as her best friend, needs her lover to be her best friend. If she chooses a best friend that isn't you, she may be guided in a direction away from the relationship. You want to guide your woman. You're her guide. You're her Sherpa climbing this mountain. Move on to the next one. Hurt people hurt people. Isn't that weird? Hurt people go around hurting other people. You need to fix yourself before you can find that ultimate woman, that ideal woman. She's not going to be interested in a destroyed man. She's not going to be interested in fixing you. She's not going to see how great you are behind how broken you are. You need to get busy today, right now, mind, body, and soul. Have a good Sunday.